Welcome everyone today. We're here with another timeless film featuring a memorable plot. The story revolves around a mother's quest to protect herself and her children. Amidst a war along the way, she encounters a boy who becomes their savior and develops a romantic connection with her to find out what unfolds next. Be sure to catch the entire episode. The film commences in 1940 with German forces invading Paris and civilians fleeing for their lives. Among them is Odile, a woman with her son Philip and daughter Kathy, determined to prioritize the safety of her children during this perilous journey. Despite the chaos, they manage to cover a distance of 50 kilometers unscathed until a sudden attack by German planes forces them to take cover. Odile and her children feign death, but Philly, in a moment of panic, attempts to flee. Fortunately, a compassionate stranger intervenes, saving Philip's life. Although the family survives the attack, their car is left in ruins, left with no alternative. They opt to traverse a forest on foot for a safer destination. The stranger, Evan, discloses that he is alone due to the loss of his parents in the war. Evan suggests navigating the forest to remain concealed and reach their destination securely, initially resistant to altering their plans. Odile eventually relents as Philip convinces her that Evan can assist them. Philly strikes a deal with Evan, offering him an expensive watch in exchange for his protection. Despite Odile's initial distrust, the group has no choice but to spend the night in the forest, navigating an uncertain path to their destination. One morning, Odile discovers her husband's watch is missing. Philip deceives her about the watch, claiming it's lost. Evan arrives and informs them of an empty house for safety. They muster their strength, trek through the forest, and finally reach a farmhouse. Upon entering, Evan cuts communication lines to ensure safety. Philip's true in Evan grows. Although upset initially, Odile realizes staying with Evan is wise. Acknowledging his capability during breakfast, Odile suggests going to a nearby village for help. Evan reveals distrust in the police due to their unjust actions. Later, it's revealed Evan is illiterate, causing him distress. He leaves, and despite waiting, Philly stays awake in vain. Odile consoles Philip, and they leave the house. Confirm in Evan's claims. The village is deserted due to police actions. Odile urges onward, but a German plane alters their decision, leading them back to the same house at night. Evan returns to the family with items he acquired from others, including a firearm. This intensifies Odile's animosity towards him, overwhelmed by heat and exhaustion. Evan loses consciousness and wakes up the next morning to discover Odile diligently working. The stolen items are gone as Odile strives to create a beautiful home for her children. Evan, keeping a secret radio, learns from the news that the war is nearing its end. He also uncovers a location where the previous homeowner kept roosters and fishes without revealing this to Odile. Evan brings food daily to build trust. However, Odile remains wary, withholding the information about the concealed weapons. Philip, Odile's son, attempts to uplift her spirits, but faces failure. Meanwhile, Kathy starts liking Evan as a big brother, but Philip warns her to keep her distance. Despite their growing friendship, Evan persistently questions Philip about the hidden weapons, honoring his promise to Odile. A heated argument erupts between Evan and Philip about the weapons, leading Philip to tearfully confide in his mother. Odile, a former teacher, decides to teach Evan how to read and write, but Evan is not yet receptive. Despite Philip's resentment, O begins to develop a soft spot for Evan during a lunch encounter. Evan proposes marriage to Odile, causing her disgust. Attempting to leave, Evan blocks her path and apologizes, pledging to obey her henceforth, which brings a smile to Odile's face. Now, Odile begins instructing Evan, and she confides in him completely. She even divulges her past to him, but Evan remains silent about his own history shortly thereafter. Two soldiers arrive at the house, informing Odile that the war has concluded, and they are returning home for some rest before continuing their journey. Philip shares this information with Evan, causing him concern as he fears the soldiers may intend to arrest or harm them. However, to Evan's surprise, the two men are gentlemen seeking respite, not threats. One of the soldiers notices Evan's weapon and realizes he scavenges items from deceased individuals wanting to meet Evan. He is informed by Odile that Evan is currently away on errands upon Evans's return. He contemplates stealing the soldiers' weapons and planning their demise. Philip intervenes, attempting to dissuade him, but Evan unintentionally injures Philip, expressing concern for the family. Evan decides to distance himself from the soldiers. Philip, disapproving of their presence, mistreats them to safeguard. Evan Odile claims he is her eldest son, curious about Odile's choice to remain hidden despite the war's end. One soldier questions her. Odile explains she desires more time with Evan, while the soldier eagerly awaits morning to return home promptly. Meanwhile, Odile anxiously awaits Evan when Evan secretly arrives, leaves, Odile cannot restrain herself indulging in private moments with him. Evan confesses he knew the war had ended, but kept it from her to prolong their time together, promising to return after the soldiers depart the next morning. Evan bids farewell. However, the following morning, police arrive with Evan arresting him for theft in an inquiry. A policeman questions OD deal about Evan. She deceives him, claiming ignorance about Evan. The policeman informs her that Evan was a fugitive who committed suicide with his body buried. Odile recounts the truth, resulting in Evan's arrest and the family being sent to a refugee camp, with numerous others concealing her true feelings from Philip. Odile tells him that Evan escaped from jail and safe. The family resumes life in the refugee camp, and the film concludes at this point. Thanks for watching.